Explain like I'm 5. Why are animals able to gorge themselves with days' worth of food, but humans can't? I'm talking things like lions eating 10 of their body weight once a week when they manage to down a zebra or whatever. If I tried to eat 10 of my body weight, I think I would literally die. Like, eating a steak 0.5 of my body weight is a big meal and leaves me unable to eat more. Edit. Wow. Okay, I was not expecting this many comments, seeing lots of interesting insight just about eating in general. And for reference, I'm asking 'cause I'm 6 feet 7 at 185 pounds. 200 centimeters at 80 kilograms? Basically, I'm a twig. I was always thin. But after switching away from potato chips, I started losing weight like crazy. I don't like cooking. And I really don't like reheating food. Having to eat 3 separate meals takes so much time. If I could eat an entire day's worth of food in one sitting, and without obliterating my gut, I totally would. Might be time to start training for larger and irregular meals. Might be worth seeing if that leads to more and less productive days, so I could focus harder on important stuff. And on off days just do stuff like laundry. Edit 2. I've seen lots of comments about the obesity epidemic. That's not what I'm referring to. Eating 20 more food than you should every single day will make you fat. I'm asking more about how. Do lions eat upwards of 1,000 food required for a single day at infrequent intervals, such that, on average, they eat no more than what they need? Or fail to and starve. All good answers here. But I didn't see anyone point out that humans today are extremely well fed. And our ancestors weren't. You can't compare a regular person eating 3 big meals a day plus snacks to a lion. Compare the lion to a hunter-gatherer who's living on roots and veggies between hunts and is burning way more calories than you do daily. I bet that guy could eat like a lion when they brought home an antelope. Because you already eat about 3 meals a day plus snacks. If you hadn't eaten for a few days and your only possible chance to eat for the next few days was a huge buffet, you'd be surprised how much you could eat. The real answer is that we can. We can fast for several days at a time and then have a nice big meal without any consequence to our health. In fact, fasting could even be healthier than the traditional consistent eating patterns we adhere to today. George St. Pierre, UFC champion, famously fasts for days at a time to deal with his ulcerative colitis. You can stretch your stomach and do this. My dog is very hungry and wouldn't be me to gorge herself with days worth of food, as her stomach is the proper size for her daily meals. Try drinking water in excess and eating boatloads of lettuce and your stomach will expand, allowing for much more food. Look at professional eaters. So animals in the wild learned this from a young age. Once they start eating, they eat until they can't anymore and keep this up for their lives. Humans can. I gorge myself with 2-3 days of food all the time. In fact, I do that every day. The question was worded as why, but I think meant how? And even if not, how? Larger stomach size, absolute or relative? Rapid digestion? Is this a challenge? A large shake from White Castle is almost 2,000 calories itself. 1 diabetes onset later. A famished underweight person could easily drink 10 their body weight. A well-fed, hydrated overweight person is going to have difficulty doing that since their 10 is a much larger portion of food. Your average lion is closer to the famished person in this example. Try not eating for 10 days and see how much you can eat. Now repeat that every 10 days for 20 years and tell me how much you can eat. It's called adaptation. Very simple concept. Humans can. That's why they are fat. They can live for days without food. Hunger is the problem. What are you talking about? I eat 5 of my body weight every day in food. People can easily eat 10 in a day. You can and probably do. If you're fat, try not eating for a week. You won't die provided you don't have any underlying conditions that would not allow this and will look better. You will feel like shit for a few days while you adjust to fasting. Most people are dumb and don't realize they don't need to eat as much as they do every day. Especially if they're fat. If you're fat, stop downvoting. You're exactly the people who need to eat less and could use a period of starvation. Why can't a human breathe underwater? Why can't a human fly? This is what many humans did pre-agriculture. There were no vegetables as they are a recent modification to certain plants. So lots of fruit if in season, otherwise tubers and small animals with occasional fish again at certain time if the year. All depends on location. Large game takes weeks to kill and most hunts were unsuccessful. Many humans fast these days for health and it's becoming more popular as a healing tool. Once a week. It's in your question. Intermittent fasting works humans too. You're just going to be hungry like a ravenous lion. Now pick up your toys. Do the experiment. Eat as much meat as you can, then see when you are hungry again. Do this with each food you would like, to know how it affects your body and hunger. For starters, animals have to work more and move more than humans nowadays. And depending on size, they require more or less calories than we do. Not to mention, there could be days the animal goes one without eating. Because God wanted it to be like that. Now stop talking and eat your vegetables. Or you'll be grounded for the entire week. The animals who are able to do that are mostly predators who eat raw meat. Raw meat is extremely heavy and hard to digest. It digests very slowly, which is also a huge factor along with other stuff what I saw in comments. If you ate raw chunk of meat, let's say it's safe and has 0 parasites. You would also digest it for a very long time. We actually can, but it wouldn't be pleasant. And you'd have to keep fasting for days and the eating huge amount of food in order to get your body used to it. Also, it isn't the healthiest option even for wild animals. I think a lot of theories point to us scavenging, persistence, hunting in groups, which would allow us more regular feast and famine cycles. Combine this with omnivorous gathering and we don't really need to eat half of our body weight in one sitting. From what I could find on Google, the average person eats between 3 and 4 pounds of food a day. With practice they could probably get that up to 10 pounds or enough food for 8 days. Keep in mind all of these are napkin calculations. The world record for fasting is over 365 days for humans. We don't have fat on our bodies for aesthetic reasons. I would encourage you to look at the intermittent fasting or fasting subreddit group on Reddit or read Dr. Jason Fung's book The Complete Guide to Fasting. I healed my overweight body years ago and lost over 50 pounds by introducing it into my life. Lots of really good information and success stories by people who live it. I mean, their general size is one thing. They don't store fat the same way. Lions also have a shorter intestinal tract as they are carnivorous. Meat takes a lot shorter time to digest than things like roots and vegetables. Just a completely different physiology. Had to edit because of some misinformation. Tears of joy. We aren't built to binge on anything at all. Too much food, too much exercise, too much alcohol. Our bodies feel like crap. When we're younger we can bounce back from these binges faster, but generally we have evolved to go low and slow. Obviously you never went in an Atkins diet. A long time ago, I went all meat, 0 carbs. I would eat like 2-3 steaks in one sitting. And I would still be hungry. I bet if we just ate meat like lions, we would be able to eat that much. Since we would need more raw meat to absorb all its nutrients versus cooking.